You know, ever since I've revealed my true thoughts on certain matters, I've been called many a things. A Celestia shill, a Heavenly Principles operative, the one who sucks off the Primordial One. Yeah, these are real comments I received. That one nigga that simps for Kiana. I mean, dude, really, guys? Like, come on, man. I don't know why people think this about me, but I want you guys to do me a favor. The next time you load up Genshin Impacts, I want you to look up, stare at that island in the sky, and say thank you. Thank you, Daddy Fanes. For it is thanks to the benevolent Heavenly Principles that all you see around you is possible. So come, let's rejoice in their greatest hits.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect peace. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Ah, lovely, lovely. And you know what there would be with no Heavenly Principles? This.
So what do you guys want to do for an eternity? Nothing.
Imagine lazy bastard dragons. Anyway, as we creep closer to the story's climax, it seems like more and more people believe the Heavenly Principles to be the enemies of the story, when this couldn't be further from the truth. And I know in the eyes of some, the Heavenly Principles might have done some questionable things. Guys, you gotta keep in mind, they've been behind the wheel in this car called life since right at the start of that journey thousands of years ago, and they've done just a dandy job so far, as we all just saw. So today I thought it necessary to objectively and impartially go over the impact, the Genshin impact, the Heavenly Principles have had on Teyvat, and why they are wrongfully being made to be the villains. It all started untold eons before even our beloved Zhongli was born. The 7 worthless sovereigns were doing squat in the land called Teyvat before the greatest being to have ever lived, the Primordial One, arrived and decided that this place was perfect for its soon-to-be most beloved creation, humanity. The 7 terrorist sovereigns, however, decided they didn't want that, and decided to fight the Primordial One in a fair 7-on-1 scenario to decide the fate of Teyvat. It was then the great Primordial One created the 4 shining shades of itself, and within 40 years flat defeated the sovereigns, earning the right to shape Teyvat. Not only did Fanes defeat them, but he also stole part of their power so as to ensure an order was to be upheld in Teyvat. Let's pause right there, because to many the first sin the Heavenly Principles committed is twofold. They invaded Teyvat, and they stole the dragon's powers. While yes, one could argue that invading Teyvat was wrong and stealing this world from the sovereigns was immoral, let's make one thing clear. A war was fought, a war in which the sovereigns had home field advantage, and numbers, and still lost because they lacked something crucial. The Fanes, on the other hand, despite being outmanned and outgunned, had a dream that one day humanity will dance in the streets of Teyvat, bringing love, emotion, and despair to this desolate world. And it was through this dream he found an undying will that allowed him to defeat the 7 sovereigns. Now let's make one thing crystal clear about the nature of war. There's one simple truth regarding battle that transcends time and space itself, so much so that even a sovereign knows this one simple fact.
In war, the victor would inherit the right to shape the world, while the losers must turn into ash.
The rules of war are woven in the womb. The victors shall burn bright, while the losers must turn to ash.
The sovereigns lost. They had every advantage and lost. Should you still call the Heavenly Principles evil for fairly winning the war to create humanity, then at least concede 2 points to me. 1, they are a necessary evil. And 2, The sovereigns have done more damage to humanity than the heavenly principles could ever do. And guys, you gotta remember, at the end of the day, conquest is the name of the game, baby! That's how any progress is ever made! Now, circling back to elaborate on my point that the sovereigns have done more damage to Teyvat and humanity than the heavenly principles could ever do, we must delve into the final moments. You see, when the sovereigns realized they were losing the war, they tried to cheat. In a last act of desperation, they introduced to Teyvat the most destructive force it has ever seen. Forbidden knowledge. You see, forbidden knowledge to the sovereigns is like crack. They love this stuff. They can't get enough of it. But keep in mind, forbidden knowledge is knowledge that doesn't belong to this world. It's destructive in nature. And every single time it pops up in Teyvat's history, catastrophe follows. They did this, the sovereigns, those damn sovereigns. And the worst part is, they did this during peacetime, but we'll talk about that later. Following the defeat of the sovereigns for 400 years, Thanes in the Shade of Life were terraforming Teyvat for the arrival of humanity. Mountains and rivers were made, and soon after, the Primordial One and one of its shades created the birds of the air, the beasts of the earth, and the fish of the sea. Together they also created flowers, grass, and trees before finally creating humans. Our ancestors, numerous as the stars in the sky, uncountable as the sand on the shore. From that time, our ancestors made a covenant with the Primordial One, and so entered a new age. Guys, Thanes had undying love for humanity. The Primordial One had a sacred plan for humans. As long as they were happy, it too rejoiced. Everything was just peachy. If there was hunger, the heavens would bring down food and rain. If there was poverty, the earth would bring forth its riches. If melancholy were to spread, the heavens would reply with their voices. The one taboo was to succumb to temptation. But the path to temptation had already been sealed. Guys, there was one rule. In this new great utopia, just one rule. But something happened. Someone succumbed to temptation. And at that moment, quote, invaders from beyond the firmament arrived. And I have good reason to believe the one leading these invaders was none other than that devil of a Dragon King himself, Nibelung. Hopped up on unspeakable amounts of forbidden knowledge. In one final desperate charade, the Dragon King destroyed not only the heavens, but the earth as well. Blinded by vengeance, he cared little for the casualties he caused. All he cared for was reigniting a forgotten war and destroying Earth. This time, Thanes would not make the same mistake he made last time and made sure to kill the foul beast. But my friends, unfortunately, due to the crackhead levels of strength Nibelung had acquired, Thanes was severely wounded. While weakened, Thanes still managed to send down the divine nails, cleansing the earth of abyssal powers. Thank him for that. And he also concocted a plan. Now realizing the dangers the sovereigns posed and far too weak to keep them from rising on his own, took their power and created the Gnosis with the third descender, to ensure that Teyvat would have an order that made sense and put humanity first. Thanes is truly a benevolent god. Now, I'm nothing if not impartial, which is why I wanted to highlight how the people on the ground viewed the war. One Nabu Melakata once said, quote, and though the invaders brought war to my former kin, they also brought about illusions that could break through the shackles to the land. The master of the heavens, consumed by fear for the rising tide of delusion and breakthroughs, sent down the divine nails to mend the land, laying waste to the mortal realm. Okay, look, guys, how do we know she isn't lying? I mean, shackles, breakthrough, illusion? Where's your evidence, bitch? Speaking of no evidence, I firmly believe the people of the First Age were involved in the arrival of the second throne of the heavens, which reignited the war. This would perfectly explain why Ankonomia was forsaken, left to rot, and what the scribe of Istaroth meant when he wrote, quote, the path to temptation had already been sealed. Look, all I'm saying is there was an apparent shift in feelings toward humanity following the war with the Second Uke. They sought what was not promised to them by the heavens, so they may have looked beyond the sky and found the devil Dragon King Nibelung. You know who else did the exact same thing with their irrigation? That's right, Conria. Putting aside the fact that they summoned an Outlander, the whole nation needed to go anyway. I mean, that bitch Gold was creating way too many fucking monsters, and as it's written in the Bible, the nation must pay for the sins of the scientist. So guys, the simple rule seems, summon a descender and get your nation nuked. Now, some of the more astute listeners among us might be going, well, what about Rumeria? They didn't summon a Descender, and they got nuked. Okay, this is a good point, guys. Alright, so look. Picture it like this. I guess my recording stopped. That's unfortunate. Oh, damn. Anyway, another gripe people might have with the Heavenly Principles is their tendency to go all, curse happy. You got a curse, you turn into a Hilichurl, you become immortal. Guys, these are merely forms of exemplary punishment. Punishment so extreme that they deter people from committing crimes. As we saw in 8th century Europe, it's completely effective. 100% effective rate. I mean, look at how broken Dainslef sounds.
I have lived with this curse for 500 years, and I have been fully conscious the entire time. Suffice to say, no one understands the curse like I do. It is a way of branding us at the level of the fate of the world itself. When a god applies a curse, it takes effect at a higher level of reality than the person themselves. Even now, I can feel the curse slowly permeating my entire being, becoming part of me, slowly but surely replacing me.
See, now that's the speech of a man that won't try and summon a Descender. So, all in all, guys, I implore you, next time you load up Genshin, just look up and say grati. Grati, Senora Fates. I mean, besides, can the Heavenly Principles really be evil if they have Kiana working for them? I mean, if evil, why hot? Huh?